Welcome back to more yoga teacher tips from me, Ashley. I'm a yoga teacher and I love helping people to become better teachers and also just having, giving helpful tips and all that kind of stuff. So today we're going through additional yoga pose cues or yoga cues you can give in your yoga classes to add a little bit of magic or a little bit more inspiration for your students. If you haven't watched my last video, which was foundational yoga pose cues, go back and watch that because those are the cues that you absolutely need to have in your classes, where these ones are just going to add a little bit more flair and a little bit just more to your teaching style and maybe a little bit more authenticity and personality into your classes. So let's get started. We have 7 of them today. So we have 7 additional pose cues. This comes from my yoga pose or yoga cueing guide that I have available for sale at ashesyoga.com/resources. I'll also post a link in the description below so you can see that. But these pose cues, these cues for you in your yoga classes do not need to be in your class. They don't need to be there, but they add value and help to keep your students coming back for more. Master the basics before adding on to these. So go back to the foundational ones, master those, and then add in these. Okay, number 1, benefits. So explain any physical, mental, emotional, spiritual benefits or energetic benefits of the pose that you're in. So any benefits of the poses. People love to know why they're in the pose and what they're getting out of it. Number 2, you can add a story or history. So you can dive into a story about the history or the origin of the pose. So like, why is half moon called half moon? Or why do we take it easy on full moon or new moon days? So add a little bit of history. Maybe it's about your teachers and masters, or it could be about the yamas, niyamas, philosophy, that kind of stuff. Number 3, add an analogy or metaphor. I've actually been to a class where the teacher maybe did this way too much. She did a lot of metaphors and it was quite flowery. So that's not necessarily what we're going for, but adding a couple comparisons in the class can help students express depth into their poses. I do say be careful not to get too flowery and to know your audience. So an analogy would be like, reach towards the sky like you say the word like you're reaching towards the stars. I mean, that was a really lame one, but it would be something like giving your body body or energetic pose a shape or a non. Do you know what I'm talking about though, right? An analogy, metaphor, or just describing what you're doing as something that's not real. So why can't I think of any examples? Anyway, I think you know what I mean. Analogies and metaphors are really helpful. Obviously, it seems like I struggle with this a little bit, but in class it just kind of rolls off the tongue. So you're thinking of like, you lost your keys, so you're reaching or to save someone or reaching. Anyways, I'm gonna stop there. All right, number 4, class theme phrases. So if you picked a theme for your class, let's say it's like building strength or loving compassion, add a few little like golden nugget phrases that reconnect your class with the theme that you may have mentioned before class started or when class started. The book, if you haven't read the book, Theme Weaver by Michelle Marshall-Don, is a really, really great resource for how to theme classes and how to add those little golden nuggets in there. And here's a little side note is you don't have to theme your classes. You definitely don't want to try to theme and then get it all like to have 5 different themes. Anyway, you don't have to, not a big deal, but it can add a little bit something to your classes. Number 5, you want to add quotes. Once in a while, it's fun to sprinkle a few quotes here and there. Some great places you can find quotes would be Pinterest or Google, but Pinterest is always a good one. Keep them simple and use them sparingly. So don't assume that students will understand the quote. So don't just say, the quote and say, and everybody knows what that means. Like, and you obviously know how this relates in your life. No, add some examples of your own lives, or how to incorporate the advice or quote into their life. And feel free to paraphrase so that after you read it or recite it. Number 6, mantras. Mantras are words or phrases that people can repeat. They could be positive affirmations or even Sanskrit terms if you're into that. So it could be as simple as, I am strong, and we're going to repeat that whenever our mind starts to wander in class. Or it could be, I know there's a mantra, Sanskrit mantra is like so hum, which is basically I am. So you can say I am, or you can say all sorts of things. So depending on a theme or what you want to bring to your class, you can have students repeat a mantra or affirmation. And lastly, this is a good one. Number 7 is saying students' names. People love when you say their names because it shows that you're giving them attention, that you care, that you notice them. So it makes them feel special. I know I love this when, especially if I'm in a new class and the teacher says my name, I'm like, oh, you said my name. Now some people might not care for it, but I'm going to say, go ahead and just say that the majority of people will appreciate when you say students' names. That is something I'm still working on, especially being at a new studio, new space. I don't know everyone's names, but at the beginning you could always ask them to repeat their names so that you have them when you teach class. If you have regulars, they love it when people love attention on them, and that's why as yoga teachers, when we give adjustments or say names, it can feel it can make the student feel really special. Okay, so we're gonna go through that one more time, just like real quick. I'm gonna list them off just to recap. Number 1, benefits of a pose: physical, spiritual, emotional, any benefits of the pose. Number 2, adding a story or history of the pose or of the sequence. Number 3, an analogy or metaphor, comparisons, really fun. Number 4, class theme phrases, so little golden nuggets based on your class theme. Number 5, quotes. Number 6, mantras or words of affirmations that you can repeat. And number 7, saying students' names. Awesome. I hope these additional pose cues for yoga class were helpful for you. You can download the guide where there's a lot of exercises and additional information, and we actually break some of those down into some worksheets. You can find that again at ashesyoga.com/resources, and it's on the list there. That is the yoga cueing guide made by me. I made it myself. Pretty proud of it. So other than that, again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you next time for another round of yoga teacher training tips or a yoga class or something. Thanks for watching. Bye.